Moving on down to the resolutions, 2023-0301, introduced by Commissioner Roach.
Okay, so I'm going to read the resolution as it was written and get it on the floor for discussion, and then I'm going to read an amendment packet that the budget committee made so that the commission can vote to put those amendments in. And I will say, the amendments that we voted on, they all passed budget committee, but of course, as a recommending committee, they can't go into the actual resolution until the commission puts them in. So I'll read the resolution without its amendments, just like this. The Honorable Mark DeWitt, Chairman, members of the Hawkins County Board of Commission in regular session, met this 27th day of March 2023. Resolution reference contributions up to $250,000 in matching funds to be taken from the county contribution through their own independent fundraising to include all monetary fundraising efforts of up to $250,000 in a dollar-for-dollar match. Whereas the Hawkins County Humane Society has worked tirelessly to provide for the destitute animals of Hawkins County through the rescue efforts. Whereas, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Hawkins County Humane Society experienced a decrease in charitable receipts and an increase in animals needing to be served through their facility. Whereas the current facility is overcrowded and the Hawkins County Humane Society is extremely limited in their ability to continue to serve the citizens and animals of Hawkins County through the rescue efforts. Whereas the Hawkins County Commission agrees to match up to $250,000 in ARPA contributions to the Hawkins County Humane Society's own fundraising efforts with the understanding that all funds must be expended by the deadline attached to federal ARPA guidelines. Therefore, be it resolved, the Hawkins County Commission approve a matching donation from the American Rescue Plan Act funds in the amount of up to $250,000 to match any funds raised from the time of passage of this resolution up to 45 days before the federally mandated ARPA deadline for expenditure of funds. Mr. Chairman, also.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor from Commissioner Roach. Do we hear a second? And a second by Commissioner Gillum.
Mr. Chairman, I move to amend the resolution with the following amendments as passed by the Budget Committee. Amendment number one, and I'm going to pack all these together into one motion so that we can just do them all as a group. Amendment number one, it should read, the Hawkins County Commission agrees to match up to $250,000 in ARPA contributions to be paid in a lump sum on October the 1st, 2024 to the Hawkins County Humane Society's own fundraising efforts with the understanding that all funds must be expended by the deadline attached to federal ARPA guidelines. So that's in that last paragraph, the last whereas. So what we did is we made it a specific date, October 1st, 2024. The second change that the Budget Committee made reads, therefore be it resolved that the Hawkins County Commission approve a matching donation from the American Rescue Plan Act funds in the amount of up to $250,000 to match any funds raised from the time of passage of this resolution up to September 30th, which is 90 days prior to the deadline for obligations of funds. So it changes the 45 days to 90 days that the Humane Society would need to raise those funds. Lastly, the third amendment, the third change rather to this motion to amend is to include all monetary fundraising efforts excluding county donated funds of up to $250,000 in a dollar-for-dollar match. So that would mean that the $30,000 that we already allocate to them would not count in their matching funds. Okay, so that is the motion to amend for those three separate changes to that resolution.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor to amend the resolution. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Gillum. Commissioner Kern, do you want to speak on the amendment or did you want to speak on the resolution?
I'm going to speak on the resolution.
Okay, let's get the amendment voted on first and then we'll. Okay, let's clear Commissioner Kern and we're going to vote on adding the amendments to the resolution as written. We're ready to vote.
I'm sorry, what's talking about?
What?
So we know what we're voting on.
We're voting on adding the amendments to the original resolution. It's not voting on the resolution right now. It's just on adding the amendments to the resolution.
And I will say, in order for this resolution to come out of the budget committee as a whole made these amendments, and they all passed the budget committee. So all we're doing is, we're just folding what the budget committee already did into the resolution. So the motion, the resolution itself only made it out of the budget committee because of these amendments. So we're just formally putting them in as a committee. Because the committee is only a recommending body, we can't formally put amendments into a resolution.
After, provided this amendment is approved, then we'll start discussion. Go ahead and vote, please.
Okay, 12 yes, 1 no, 1 absent.
Okay. So the motion to add the amendments has passed. So now we need to open the floor for discussion on the resolution as amended. Let's go ahead and have, Sue, are you going to speak, or Jackie, or who's going to speak? Okay, Jackie Patterson.
All right, I think most of you know who I am. I'm Jackie Patterson, Sandy and I run the shelter on a daily basis. When this whole thing started, we tried for $880,000 to get a building. Then it was cut down to $440, and now August is $400 when we got the letter from the mayor. Now we're down to $250,000 in matching funds. I believe we are the only ones being asked to match. I know you said the school district did, but they get their money from the county and the state. They didn't have to fundraise for it. You know, we do the best we can. We have animals being dumped in the middle of the road, criminal cases hopefully pending. What do you want us to tell all these people when we can't help them? What do we tell them? What do we do when there's a dog with a bear trap stuck on his leg because someone didn't handle it the proper way? The dog had his leg amputated. I know you people, a lot of you say that the people need help, but you know, people, children, and the elderly are the ones who need it the most. You know, we do the best we can with what we have. I think most of you know we do. We work very hard. We work day and night. It doesn't matter. I'm sick as a dog and I'm here, but you know, we need to do something more. $250,000 to match is going to be hard. That's a lot of money. And we only have 18 months. And then it delays how long before we can even start doing anything. You know, I just dig deep in your hearts. I mean, I know they're animals, but they have needs. We need help. We can deal with the day-to-day operation, but we really need the space. We need the isolation. We need all of this. It's not just a pipe dream, it's what's necessary to have a good and healthy shelter. You know, like I said, we're up 4 hours a day, making phone calls, people telling us animals being abused, neglected, starved, beaten, dragged. We need help to try to do something for this county. You know, we do a lot for you that you don't even realize, because unless you deal with it and see it every day, you don't realize how much animal cruelty there is. How many animals that are just starved to death on the side of the road. Someone came to the shelter the other day with 9 puppies, said, I don't want them, they're nasty little creatures, we have no room. She took them and she dropped them up on Blevins Road on a curve. 2 people almost killed the puppies. They grabbed them, they brought them to us, we were lucky we found a foster, and it's just starving. Puppy season, kitten season's here. I just don't know how much more we can do with that space. I really don't. And it breaks my heart. I can't go to bed at night and go to sleep knowing that there's animals being kicked, beaten, starved, mistreated, kept in small kennels, no food, no water. Like I said, I know they're not people. I get it. But man, they need a lot more help, and we do a great service for this county. We really do. And I just don't know what to do anymore. But hopefully you'll see through it. Matching funds is going to be hard. Waiting a year and a half to get anything is going to be hard. So just dig deep in your heart. That's all I got to say.
All right, thank you, Jackie. Just a point of clarification, you have said that nobody else has had to match their contribution. We've not made any nonprofit contributions from ARPA at this time.
I know, but like the meeting the other day, you said that the school district got
Okay,
that.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but I also wanted to clarify that no other nonprofits have received it.
No, I know.
So we haven't asked anybody to match because we haven't given any.
Not like the fire departments, they're nonprofits.
Well, the fire departments are part of the county operations as well, so. Okay, Commissioner Kern, give me just a minute to do something here that I promised somebody that had emailed me who couldn't be here tonight, that I would read his letter, and then we'll get to you, if that's okay. To the commissioners, while the commission looks at various requests for ARPA funding from the perspective of this citizen, I believe in looking logically at priorities. It does not take very long to look anywhere in the county and realize that critical infrastructure such as our roads and bridges, lack of protective guardrails, and so on are in need and extreme need in many cases. Biblically speaking and logically speaking, human life will always trump that of animals. Please don't get me wrong. I love animals and am an owner-operator of a working farm here in Hawkins County. I have dogs, cats, and many other farm animals. It is my personal responsibility to take care of these animals, and that is exactly what we do. We take personal responsibility of said animals. It is not responsibility of any other person in this county, either out of kindness of their heart or by legal mandate, to care for my animals. Just as it's true, it's not the responsibility or any other taxpayer's responsibility to take care of feral or other animals taken to the Humane Society. It's neither a federal, state, or local county mandate and should not be. With that all said, the county provides a great amount of funding that comes from the taxpayer already. That's again not something the county needs to do, but very generously does so. And if you are an able-bodied working person in this county, that means you're paying for this funding already to the Humane Society. Our roads and infrastructures are literally falling apart around us, literally broken roads, holes in bridges, roads that should have guardrails that do not. These all pose danger and extreme danger to humans. As a matter of priority, any additional funds should be allocated to the highway department to protect human life. That means clearly that an animal's life is after that. The commission made a good decision for the sheriff's office on the $800,000 request. This literally is life-saving. Such is the same that our roads should be fixed for life-saving and protection of human life before that of an animal. It's a matter of being logical. I've carefully watched the entire debate of the Humane Society. I've noticed some of the talking heads that represent the Humane Society have been not only demanding but rather militant in the ways they are demanding money. This is not a cordial way of requesting support and clearly represents bullying tactics. Lack of those being civil should not be a cause for a group of commissioners to feel bullied or be bullied. There is no place for that. The very nature of the bully tactics should be repulsive to the commission. I've asked several citizens their opinion on this, and without question, a large silent majority of people do not like these tactics, nor do they support increased funding for the Humane Society. I and my family are no haters of animals. In fact, we've adopted 3 dogs and 6 cats on our farm. We've taken great responsibility to spay or neuter each of them. This is our responsibility, though, not the taxpayers. We even took in another stray dog for several weeks and fed him while we tried very hard to find his owner. That said, it's not the taxpayer's responsibility in any way. Giving additional money from ARPA is not a responsible use of this money at this time. People are watching. Some of you first-term commissioners should take notice of your voting track record now, as a large portion of the population in Hawkins County does wish for this county to remain conservative in nature and without a question to be fiscally conservative. I implore you as commissioners to vote a strong no on this $250,000 match donation resolution to the Humane Society on any additional funding. Regards, Jonathan Ellsworth and family from Mooresburg, Tennessee. Again, this is be here tonight and asked me to read that. Commissioner Kern.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have heard back and forth about these resolutions and amended and everything, and I think it's still in an air of confusion that the Humane Society is not that happy. Maybe we're not that happy, but at this time, I would like to make a motion to table this resolution, send it back to the Budget Committee for further hearing after we look at what our taxes are going to be at the budget hearings.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to send the request back to the Budget Committee. Do we have a second? Commissioner Maddox, are you seconding or do you want to speak?
No, I want to speak.
Okay, let's get this seconded. If it's going to be seconded, let's get this seconded and move from there. Is there Is there a second to Commissioner Kern's motion?
I can't make a second.
You second at this point, I thought it had to be earlier.
This is a motion to table.
I mean, page.
Nancy, are you seconding?
Yes, yes.
Okay, seconded by Nancy Barker, but she doesn't have a button. Okay, we've got a motion on the floor to table the motion and send it back to the budget committee.
Table cuts off all this.
Table cuts off all discussion at this point. So we're gonna have to vote on the motion to table.
Mr. Chairman.
Can't
Yes.
discuss the motion to table.
Table cuts off all discussion.
Can I raise a point of order?
Yes.
Motion to table, a motion to table is only applicable when you're wanting to take the motion back off the table before the end of the.
Okay. So the proper terminology would be motion to postpone.
Motion, the motion, it could be a motion to postpone, or it could be a motion to refer to the committee, that's essentially what
Okay.
it is. And so the motion to refer to the committee, I believe, is available. Is that correct, Mr. Phillips?
Yes, if that's the essence of the motion, rather than
If
table.
the intent is to refer this resolution back to the budget committee, then it is a debatable motion.
Yes.
Okay, so it is debatable.
Okay, so is your motion to refer it back to the?
My motion was
budget
refer it back to the budget committee.
committee? Okay. So we can't use the term table because we're not gonna pick it back up at this meeting. Commissioner Barker, do you still second that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we can discuss only sending it back to the budget committee at this point. Commissioner Maddox?
Okay. Mr. Roach, so if we're gonna send it back to the budget committee, you know, $250,000 is a big lot of money. I would like for you all to realistic what's going to say. Like I said, too, in the fire department, I just talk about that. 250, it'd be hard for fire departments, anybody to raise that kind of money.
Okay, Commissioner Maddox, the discussion should be only whether it should go back to the budget committee.
It is a discussion.
It's discussion on sending it back to the budget committee.
Well, he certainly has the right to express his displeasure with sending it back.
That's what he should say instead of saying, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I'm just trying to keep the Robert's rules.
Mr. Max, can you speak up? I can't hear you. I can't hear. I'm sorry.
Okay, Commissioner Maddox, you have anything else to say about sending it to the budget?
Not this time.
Okay. Commissioner Gillum, it's strictly about sending it back to the budget committee.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would encourage the members of this commission not to send this back to the budget committee. I disagree that it is in a state of confusion. I think it is. We have exhausted a lot of debate in public forums as well as in the budget committee. We've exhausted a lot of time in doing that. And I think at this point, the debate needs to be had amongst this commission, amongst the full commission. We need to hash this out, and then at the end of the day, you're either for it or against it, and I'll respect you either way, but I think it's time that we vote on this.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to send this resolution back to the budget committee, been properly seconded. Is there any other discussion on sending it to the budget committee? Okay, if not, we'll need to go ahead and vote. Okay, Commissioner Vaughn.
I disagree with sending it back to the budget committee. I think it's been discussed too much already. And I had an amendment that I wanted to present that might solve the problem, maybe not, but sometimes some of us don't get an opportunity to speak.
We always give you an opportunity to speak. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said, oh, sure.
Okay. I heard it differently.
She said that, I heard that.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Any other discussion on sending it back to the budget committee? Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and vote, and this is voting on sending it back. This is going to be a roll call vote on sending it back to the budget committee.
Let me see if I can.
Bear with us just a minute. Okay, that's motion and second on the previous, on adding.
We're not there yet. Okay, now,
Okay, we're not going to do a roll call. Go ahead and vote on your pad.
okay. 5 yes, 8 no, 1 absent.
Okay, so that motion fails. Now we're back to discussing the actual resolution as amended. Go ahead and clear that. Okay, we're back to the motion as amended. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Vaughn?
At what point may I present my amendment?
Right now,
Very good, thanks very much.
but you're gonna have to make a motion to amend.
I would like to make a motion to amend the resolution, including Mr. Roach's amendment. My amendment is to give the Humane Society $125,000 without an obligation for a match, and to retain $125,000 for a match for the time limits that are given on the previous amendment. They are not going to be able, and everyone knows that, to gain $250,000 in 18 months. That's totally unreasonable. That's why it's set up like that. Now, listen to me or don't listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. And I would appreciate it if we would go ahead and help this society that we know needs it. Yes, they're not people, but the animals need to be taken care of. Do you remember what's in the Bible? I do. I'm finished. Thanks very much.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to amend the resolution stating $125,000 up front and retaining $125,000 as a match. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Okay, we've got a motion from Commissioner Vaughn, second from Commissioner Alvis to split it up, 125, 125, 125 up front and 125 to be held back. Is there any discussion on adding that amendment only? So we're going to vote on adding the amendment that Commissioner Vaughn presented. Any discussion on adding that amendment? Okay, can you set it up to vote on that, please? Okay, we're voting on the amendment only. As amended. This is just to add the amendment. Right. Right. Okay. Votes are in.
Okay, 10 yes, 3 no, 1 absent.
Okay, so the motion, the resolution has been amended to be 125 up front, 125 held back, as matching fund money. Now, we'll need to vote on the resolution as amended. Okay. We'll need a motion in a second. We'll know. It goes back to you and,
It goes back to
okay.
the original resolution.
Okay, back to the original resolution as amended.
As amended.
As amended. There any discussion on the resolution as amended? And amended. And amended. Okay, we're gonna vote on the resolution itself with the amendments, and go ahead and set us up to vote. All right.
Nine yes, 3 no, 1 absent, 1 abstain.
All right, so that resolution passes, 125 up front and 125 to be matched, given the same dates we had prior.